Welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast, where I, your host, Xavier Cruz, a lifelong wrestling fan, will take a lifelong friend through the action, the joys, and the drama of the world of professional wrestling. My co-host, Kelsey Silva, has been bitten by the wrestling bug, and I want to invite you to join us as I take her through the moments that made me a fan. So if you're new to wrestling and would like to get brought up to speed, or a fan who would like to relive some classic matches, promos, and segments through fresh eyes, join us as we embark on a journey through the Attitude Era and beyond. Welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. This week, we watched the January 20th, 1997 edition of Monday Night Raw, and the match card is as follows. We had the tag team champions, Owen Hart and the British Bulldog, taking on Doug Furnas and Philip LaFawn in a non-title match. We had Farouk taking on Bart Gunn, and in our main event, we had Stone Cold Steve Austin taking on The Undertaker, who is a replacement for Psycho Sid because Psycho Sid has a concussion.
He has a little boo-boo on his head.
He got a little boo-boo. Aw, turnabout's fair play.
This is so weird and completely random, but this is the first time ever this has happened when you were doing the intro that I thought you were going to say, like, welcome to Monday Night Raw.
Oh my God, really?
I think I'm just like too in it now. Or you were like, hello everybody, and I thought you were gonna say, and welcome to Monday Night Raw. And I was like,
Rah!
And then you were like, welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast. I was like, oh no, that's us. Okay.
Right.
That's my bad.
No.
But that was the first time that's happened where I was like,
you're like, oh my God, have I been transported?
Oh my God. The Royal Rumble changed me. So
amen. It changed us
I'm still
all.
thinking about it. Wait, so before we get into this match, which was almost as dramatic as the Royal Rumble, I will say. It jam-packed.
The first one?
What?
The first match?
The whole episode.
The whole episode? Just chaos?
It was like they jam-packed all of the drama of a 3-hour pay-per-view into a 48-minute episode. It was like so dramatic. But we were talking about last week's episode where we talked about the Royal Rumble, obviously. And we got a comment on our YouTube video that sent me into a spiral. So first of all, thank you for commenting on our YouTube video. And the comment was something akin to like, allegedly, Bret Hart was supposed to win the Royal Rumble. Like he was like slated to win the Royal Rumble. And then it was leaked that he was the winner of the Royal Rumble. And so at the last minute, the WWF decided to change it to Stone Cold, but like through a weird finagly way so that there'd be like contention, allegedly.
Right.
So naturally, me, a psycho, I was like, well, I have to see if this is true. Like I have to look into this and see if this has any teeth. And I unfortunately, like I try not to like get spoilers, of course that's going to happen because these episodes happened 30 years ago. And like, I'm so sad I spoiled something that's like big T, where I literally was reading it and I was like, oh, I wish I hadn't seen that. And I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. I'll tell you when it happens. I'll be like, that was the thing. But the only thing, if anyone is willing to like extrapolate on this more, if this is a real thing, and Xavier brought up a good point earlier and we were talking about it, like we may never know, which is like the beauty of it, is like there's so much happening behind the scenes, we may actually never know what really occurred. But if anyone has any like really like, you know, insider info without giving too much in the future away of what happens, we'd love to know. We'd love to discuss. The only thing I saw, and I think it was actually an excerpt from one of JR's books, was like, I didn't see anything where it was like he was definitely going to be the winner and they changed it at the last minute, but I saw like there was discussions of like where Stone Cold and Bret Hart were like in the same room for the discussions, like, no, like let's do it this way, like I'll be like, to really like solidify Stone Cold as a heel,
right,
or something. But like I just thought that was really interesting in that comment. Like really, I was like, I want to know.
Well, now it makes the like that little like tidbit from JR's book makes it what has progressed make more sense. In that like, because Stone Cold won in such a controversial manner, like it already like, because he's already like, he's going after everybody. He's like,
right,
you know, like
no allies, like only enemies. So the way that he won, based on like the nature of the match, which is every man for themselves, and also like having like a murky finish, just adds all of this like heat onto him, which he was
Yes.
already like going out of his way of like getting.
Yes.
But you really got the buy-in from the fans when their guy Bret Hart was like screwed, like absolutely screwed. If it was like determined that Bret Hart was supposed to be the winner and like everybody found out about it and it wouldn't be exciting, like it's one way to like give Stone Cold a bunch of heat and then give them an ending they weren't expecting,
Mm-hmm.
and then have this match and give them the original plan that they were going to do in the first place.
Yes. It's honestly, it really is so genius. Like, because also it like brings back this like we've slowly been like sowing the seeds of discord in terms of with management. Because like
Yes.
the refs are just reffing, like things happen, like we get mad at the refs and we're like, come on, ref, like whatever. But like really it comes down to like the anger with like upper quote unquote management.
Yeah.
Like Vince and Gorilla Monsoon and whatever. And so like now it's like really like more people are getting mad about it that you wouldn't expect.
Right.
Like Bret screaming at Vince McMahon is crazy. Like which we're going to get into. But like yeah, I just thought that was I'm so grateful for that comment because I was like what, like, was that real? Like, oh my God. So then, like, it's just, it makes you think again, like Xavier said, like, you just really never know what goes on behind the scenes. We may never know what goes on behind the scenes. Like, JR could write, like, literally 600 books and we'd still never know, like, the day to day nuance of, like, orchestrating something like this. Like, it's so crazy.
Right. So many moving parts.
Wild.
All right. Let's get into
the actual episode.
Let's just get into the episode and see. Because this was a lot. This
a lot.
was
So much.
the fallout of this Royal Rumble, because there was so much controversy top to bottom.
Amazing.
Everyone's pissed.
Including me, seriously. But in like a
like need to know more kind of way.
Yes. Like I'm not like so mad I'm like this is dumb. Like I'm not gonna watch anymore, obviously. But like just like we're just like, oh, like what are they gonna do with this now? Like what's gonna happen now?
Right. I was like, we gotta untangle all of this. All right, so the episode starts with just a recap of the Royal Rumble. You know, lots of like movie theater voices and picture to picture, and yeah. So essentially, just runs down the whole card, gives us a little recap, lets us know that if we want to watch it again, they're gonna play it again. All that good stuff. And so from that little like recap, it cuts to the announce team on like just hanging out ringside, and they're like chit-chatting, like because of the controversial ending of the Royal Rumble. Gorilla Monsoon was gonna like make an announcement, like they were talking about it, and all of a sudden you just see like the crowd starts like when someone's there, when the crowd just like absolutely starts losing it, and Bret Hart, like no music, like nothing,
no music, bop, bop, bop,
just
no
comes
music,
just comes running down to the ring, grabs a microphone, and he came to air some grievances.
Immediately. I was like, we were talking about this before we started, and I was like, what is Bret Hart gonna say? I know he's gonna say something crazy. And literally, we didn't have to wait. He came immediately. Not at all. He was like, ding dong, give me the mic.
So he basically grabs the mic and he's like, I've got a problem. I've got problems.
I've got 99 problems, and Vince McMahon is one.
No, 100%. So basically he's like calling out Vince essentially for all of this. He goes, when I came back to the World Wrestling Federation, I was promised a world title shot. So tell me why all of a sudden, like, it's so convenient that Shawn Michaels is on commentary during my world title match and then gets himself involved. So he's like, oh, okay. Like, all right, strike one. He's like, oh, okay, so we're just supposed to accept that. And then they're like, oh, no, but it's fine. That's totally okay. You can go into the Royal Rumble. And he's like, okay, well, where I have to fight 29 other people to get the same opportunity. Sure, whatever. So tell me why I eliminate Stone Cold Steve Austin and he comes back in the ring and eliminates me and gets crowned the winner. That he's losing it. He's like, I have been screwed by Shawn Michaels. I have been screwed by Stone Cold Steve Austin. I have been screwed by the World Wrestling Federation. And he's like, I've been screwed by you, like referring to Vince. And he's like, basically, he's like, it seems like I'm not going to be getting what I want anytime soon. So I quit. And Mike drops and just starts booking it through the crowd. And you can see like Vince is like not saying anything. You know what I mean? He's trying to give like his best like poker face, but you know, like it's poker face. It's an attempt at poker face. Let's put it that way. Like,
yeah,
like,
it's not the best. You can kind of tell what cards he's working with.
Right. AKA he's big upset that essentially his biggest main eventer has just quit on the spot on national television.
Yeah, and he was like the emotion he was hiding wasn't anger. It was like something so beyond. Like he was upset. Like he wasn't angry. He wasn't like, oh, what, like for getting called out. He literally looked like a kicked dog. Like he looked upset.
Yeah, because like if you think about it from his like perspective, I was like, one of his employees just hijacked his show. Like just decided he was gonna come out on live TV, grab a live microphone, and just start talking.
And air him out.
Right. So it's just like there's a loss of control that I dare say most billionaires don't like. Let's just put it that way.
So interesting.
Right.
When those things happen.
So Bret Hart starts making his way out through the crowd, you know, man of the people and whatnot.
Yeah, he was like, not this aisle, my people. And like climbs the thing.
Like literally climbing on people's chairs like to get out. Like not even like a break in like the crowd seating. No, he just went like into the first row.
Which I did think of. They were like the seating there was confusing because I think they were at like a college or a university, like something. But like even when they panned out to the crowd, it just seemed like mayhem, like almost like it was general admission. But like there were obviously seats, but like they weren't organized. I don't know. It was great. This crowd was rowdy. They were involved. They were not here to play games. And like, but yeah, he had to like walk through a very convoluted way to try and even like begin leaving.
Absolutely. And so he's leaving one way. Vince is like trying to get his attention as to no avail, and then just like dips. Like Vince just like goes like backstage because he's like, I got shit I gotta deal with now.
Well, I think he leaves after
Stone Cold.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That's what I wrote, but I could be wrong.
No, you're probably right. You probably take
I think he was
I
like I doubt that sincerely. But like because I think that he was like, okay, let me like pull myself together. And then here comes Stone Cold and he's like, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna go.
So as Bret Hart's making his way out through the crowd, Stone Cold is coming down the aisle and he grabs a microphone first, and which doesn't work. Just absolutely nothing's happening for nobody. Nothing. So he finally gets a mic that works and he's like, are you gonna give me a piece of equipment that works, or am I gonna have to kick your ass too? And you're just like, oh, here we go. It's starting like immediately. He's not wasting any time. He's like, Bret Hart, all you've done since you've come back to the WWF is cry. So like,
which is just so
he's
good.
He's like, you can complain all you want. He's like, when the going gets tough, the hearts get going home. And I was just like, ooh, ooh.
Oh my god.
Funny. And so he's just like,
he aired out everybody.
Basically, Stone Cold's view on this whole thing is tough cookies. Don't care. Like, he's he's like too damn bad.
He even
So
he made fun of Psycho Sid having a concussion. He was like, "Wait, you're sitting at home with an ice pack on your head." Like,
no, fully. And he's like he might have like an ice pack on his head, but he's got a big yellow stripe running down his back. And I was like, oh,
girl.
sir.
And what he said about Gorilla Monsoon.
Yes. So he gets
Girl.
on to Gorilla Monsoon because it was announced that he's going to be making an announcement. And he's like, I got a bunch of bananas and I can tell you where to shove each and every last one of them. And I was like, damn, this
Girl.
man, they literally just was like, honestly, like before he went out there, they were just like, say whatever. Just say whatever. It's a college crowd. Say whatever.
Say whatever. They will love it. They'll eat it up, and they did.
And we did.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I hung on every word.
And then so after he's done calling out like
everyone,
every
last
Monsoon,
person.
he goes, oh, and now he's like, oh, and now I'm supposed to be fighting the Undertaker. Like, if you want to get his dead ass out here, then like we can get this started right now. And I was
the originator of dead ass. We just didn't know.
Who knew?
Like dead ass, get out here.
No, literally. I was like, oh, okay, sir. But he was wilding today. He was absolutely going nuts. And I loved it.
Loved it.
It was because it was just like, it was immediate shit talking. And it was like, he hit every person. He was like, boom, boom, boom. It was like literally headshots every time. Like, yep. Amazing.
And this is what I love about Stone Cold, and I meant to say this before too, is like the thing that's also so controversial about the Royal Rumble loss is because like you also can't help but love Stone Cold.
Right.
So you're like, I want to see Bret Hart win because I love Bret Hart. It's freaking Bret Hart. But also Stone Cold was in there for 45 minutes, right? Or like 40 minute, either way, ridiculous. And the fact, and he fought everybody. And when he was laying there and he was going like this, like, come on, bring in the next guy, they were eating it up.
Oh, they were eating it up.
Eating it up. The only reason everyone's so mad that he won is because of how he won. But that's also Stone Cold's way. Like, that's why he did. Like, so that's why it adds such an extra layer, because it's like, he's the heel, like the bad guy, quote unquote, but he's also like, you just love him so much. It's like, I don't want you not to win, but I also like, I don't know. It's just so conflicting. It's so many conflicting emotions.
And that's like a thing that's going to be kind of prevalent in Stone Cold's like career, is that like there are like a lot of times where he's doing heel things, but everybody loves him so much that it doesn't like, it doesn't matter. Like, he transcends like that whole good bad thing.
It's crazy.
Because he just gets so popular that like it doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't.
I love that because there's such a freedom in that too. Like, because if it doesn't matter what you do, people are just gonna like you. You can do just the most heinous garbage.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're gonna be like, and they're gonna love it even more. Like that's like insane.
Because like even in like I don't know, literature or in wrestling, like the bad guys are always more interesting. They can do more. They can like the things that they can like get into and like not have to worry about consequences or morals or whatever. Like it just makes them more fascinating. So and the same holds here. It's like there are so many things that like, yes, like being a baby face or whatever is like great, but there is like a limitation to it. Like, you have to follow the rules for the most part. You have to like, it's a
moral compass.
It's like, generally like a happy to be here kind of like attitude, where it's just like when you're the bad guy, you get a lot more freedom. But when you're the bad guy that everybody loves, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want.
I can't wait.
Does not matter.
I love it.
I know. It's going to be amazing.
I can't wait.
So, let's get into the first match.
This all happened before we even had a match. Xavier, literally, we were like in such shock, and he goes, "We haven't even had a match yet." I was like,
"No, literally." I pulled out like my notebook, which is like almost like a full page in, and I'm like, "We've had no wrestling.
I haven't even seen a match." Oh my God.
Insanity. Lord. So in our opener, we had the tag team champions Owen Hart and the British Bulldog taking on the rising stars Doug Furnas and Philip LaFon. So this is a non-title match. I thought this was supposed to happen at the Royal Rumble, but apparently I was wrong. Like,
Yeah,
I
because
fully believed that was what they had said before,
yeah,
but I guess I could be wrong.
I don't remember what happened.
They do show a little recap of Owen eliminating the British Bulldog during the Royal Rumble, just kind of like alluding to them being not on the same page, and then they're like,
Yeah.
but don't worry, they've somehow managed to get back on the same page. And we're like, okay, sick.
Yeah, they've like reconciled, and they were like,
It's
so
been a
great.
day.
It's been a day. It hasn't even been 24 hours,
No,
probably.
literally.
Like, what? And they were like, yeah, they're totally fine. They talked everything through. It's like, first of all, how do you know that?
Right.
Were you there? Did you mediate? Second, I don't know. And then they were like wrestling like they always have. Like, it was so I'm like, is something brewing? Are they like making me are they trying to make me feel safe? Because now I have trust issues. Like, are they trying to make me feel
Right.
safe? And then they're gonna like blow it up? Like, I just don't know, because I just feel like this tension's been building too long for them to just be like, well, c'est la vie.
Right. We're
Like,
friends. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm wondering where this is going also, because like it's been alluded that they've been like for a while now.
for a while.
So I don't really know when that's going to like come to fruition, but I'm hoping it's soon because I want to see them fight.
So bad.
I want to see them
fight.
fight.
Yep.
So this match was excellent because
So good.
all four members like involved are all excellent like technical wrestlers. It was counter for counter, it was suplex for suplex, like arm drags, like drop toe holds. They're like just running the gambit of like wrestling 101 on each other. And
what's the one that has the crazy name? It's like a Hurricane
Rana.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Love
yeah.
that one.
I think Philip LaFon does to the British Bulldog.
Yes.
Yes, because it just is crazy because the British Bulldog is like such a beefy dude, and Philip LaFon's like not a small wrestler either. So to see him like perform that move is just, it looks crazy. Like it looks like he barely gets him through before they're like hitting the mat, and you're like,
yes, and he does it so fast. Why is he so fast?
It was also confirmed during this match that Paul Bearer is the manager of the Undertaker or of Vader now. So I don't know. Exit Jim Cornette, enter Paul Bearer. I don't know what kind of shenanigans, backdoor deals, like what's going on there. But apparently it's been sealed in writing, I guess.
This is so shocking. And I just don't get it. Like, and also like Jerry, for as hard as he used to ride for Jim Cornette, for him to be like, yeah, like Vader's under new management, tra la la. Where is Jim? Like,
honestly, I'm very curious. Like, I want to know if he went to like WCW or something, and we just don't know.
Do you think? Because Sunny's gone also. No one's talked about her for weeks.
I'm pretty sure at some point in this time period, she goes to ECW.
Girl.
I think.
I don't know if we talked about this, but I recently did like a whole deep dive on like Sunny's life, like a backstory thing, probably like a month ago.
Wild. Is it when her sentencing
case came? Yeah, I think because I was like just curious, and I was like just looking stuff up about it. I love to go down a rabbit hole. And like it was so crazy. If anyone's curious and wants to go down a rabbit hole, like that's a good one. Amen. I don't remember it saying ECW, but I might have just like been totally taken by the other things that she did
in her life after wrestling,
which zero judgment, girl, you do you. I just like I was like, whoa, all right.
Yeah, they live a life,
a whole life.
Back to the match. So just in the conclusion, Owen gets kind of like, he's on the outside and he manages to hit LaFon with the slammy.
I hate that freaking slammy.
Which allows the British Bulldog to power slam LaFon and getting the victory. Which is, I don't know. I really thought that we were gonna have some tag team turmoil. I really thought there was gonna be some like
Tag team
something going
turmoil.
on that was gonna be like furthering this story, but they just seemed very cohesive, like a tag team.
And they won the same way they always do, by cheating.
Right.
Which, but I know that's their MO, fine, whatever. But it's just like, it was like, okay, so we've seen this almost identical match before, because I'm pretty sure the four of them have wrestled in a tag team match before this.
Well, they were
They
in the
haven't?
Survivor Series
Oh, okay, different.
match, which is how, because one of the LaFawn or Furnace got the pin over Owen
Yes.
in that match.
Correct.
And then what you call it?
Which gave them a shot at the title?
No, they just won their debut match, which is, good for them. But then they had to like go through and like wrestle a bunch of teams.
Right. Okay, right.
Just to kind of like work their way up the ladder. But still, this wasn't even a title match. So I don't know how far down the ladder they are and who is really in line.
True.
Because like tag teams go, we have like the New Rockers,
which
the
we also haven't
Godwins.
seen in a while.
Billy and Bart aren't a thing anymore.
No.
Who other tag teams do we have?
I don't know.
I'm lost. I think that's it.
And if we do, they don't leave much of an impression. Sorry. Like, I don't remember.
Well, that's because they're like thrown together at like the last minute usually.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll see what's going on there. Maybe they're like elongating it until they get more tag teams in here so that they can like
That's a good point.
put the titles on somebody else and then do the story, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So in our next match, we have Farouk taking on Bart Gunn. This is the second time we've seen Bart since that whole Billy injury. He came back during the Royal Rumble, like was in the Royal Rumble match. Didn't do too much.
No, I'm pretty sure he was eliminated like almost immediately.
Yeah, it was a quick one.
Yeah.
So we are once again graced with the all too long entrance of the Nation of Domination, punctuated by Farouk manhandling the woman who is now in the Nation, apparently to get her to undress him faster, to get him out of his like entrance attire and down to his ring wear. It was jarring how aggressively he grabbed her. I was just like
so uncomfortable.
Right? Because it's just like we still don't know her name, and you like publicly berated her for not defending you to her last breath, and then you drag her back out here the next day and you're just shoving her around. I was like, how quickly do you need to get your jacket off that you need to like start manhandling this woman? Like that's a lot. Like a lot.
And it's the way that there are 20,000 other people, like the way that the Nation has literally 15 other people there. You had to grab the one woman you have.
Yeah, of course.
Grab anybody else. Well, don't grab anybody, but like literally,
no,
like
literally.
Why do you? And she's like little. She's like a petite woman, and he just rips her, like scary.
Yeah,
because Farouk is gigantic, even under normal circumstances with a normal sized person. Just grabs her and like shoves him in front of her. Is like, take off my jacket. Like,
right.
What do you? It's just like.
Ew.
It's so
weird.
What
it is. It's ew.
It's ew. It's like super ew.
Yeah. So that, we're getting a taste of who Farouk the character is. I hope. It's just the character. And
fingers crossed. It's just a character.
Amen.
Jesus.
So in the early part of this match, Bart is actually like out wrestling Farouk, just like out maneuvering him, just kind of like getting the better of him. Bart's still rocking that smoking guns theme and ring attire. I don't foresee that changing anytime soon. I think that's just kind of where we're at with him.
Which is fine.
Shout out to Bart's Dumpy for being just Bart's Dumpy.
Swear to God.
Nobody has filled out a pair of jeans quite like Bart Gunn.
Xavier was like, this is like a Wrangler ad.
It's amazing. I could watch it in slow motion for like, oh, I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Yeah, fabulous. So
Another
good.
little fun fact, apparently on this day in 1997,
Oh my god.
we
Girl.
had the inauguration of Bill Clinton the same day. We're out here just
Big Billy C.
Big Billy playing that saxophone.
Girl. Oh my god.
So
Oh
funny.
my god.
So back into the match. Farouk ends up getting the upper hand after a spine buster and is performing a sleeper on Bart, but he keeps using the ropes to kind of get better leverage. And of course, all of the members of the nation, like every time the referee looks around, it's like, no, he would never. I
would
was
never do that.
watching. And you're like, okay, girly. Lots of cheating as far as Farouk goes. Jerry the King has once again put his foot in his mouth, as he is just known to do as of late. And they make mention of Bart having a lot of fight in him in this part of the match. And Jerry sticks his foot in his mouth, basically being like, his brother doesn't have any more fight in him thanks to Bart. And you're just like, ugh. I was like, a little like too soon to be, as far as we know, talking about someone with paralysis. Like, that's
Oh my god, like,
you know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
only laughing because we know he's okay now. Like, because
Right.
it's just, I was like, that was in poor taste.
It was-
wouldn't have, myself, I wouldn't have said it. But
I mean,
right. Also,
but
like,
name 5 Jerry quotes that weren't in poor taste.
you can't.
It's
I have
just
not one.
just not possible.
It's not. And if there have been any, I haven't written them down because they weren't worth it. So
Amen. So this is where we are. At this point in the match, Bart goes to get a pinfall victory when one of the members of the nation grabs Farouk's whole leg and tosses it over the bottom rope, breaking the pinfall victory. Bart is pissed, runs out of the ring and starts chasing down these like nation
Minions.
members. He clotheslines like a couple of them before Farouk ends up getting the better of him, putting the Dominator on him, which looked terrifying.
Bad.
Because Bart is like 6'5" and like almost 300 pounds. And just like, it just looked like the move looked like delayed, or just like, he like barely pulled it off is how I want to describe it. It's just like he had him up, but with like both arms kind of, it's a mess. It was just like too close for comfort as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I really thought he was gonna like break his arm or like dislocate his shoulder. He came down so weird on the one side, and I was like,
Right.
Like, it's just, I was like, I don't know if that was about to be bad or not. You just never know.
Only time will tell. I am a little surprised there was no Ahmed Johnson.
Yes.
Considering that he lost the match or won the match via DQ.
Yep.
Attacked the one member of the nation, throwing his ass through the table. Eliminates himself in the Royal Rumble because he just can't stand the sight of Farouk. So why this week is Farouk just like coming out all willy-nilly, just having his match, and Ahmed's just like nowhere?
Stay out of this. Yeah, that is weird. Now that you say that is weird, especially because they talked about the match a lot, which obviously I know they're trying to promote like watching the pay-per-view.
The feud going on, yeah.
Yeah, but like also they replayed, which was great. They replayed Ahmed smashing the guy through the table like 3 times more. And literally JR was like, make sure you tune in, really hear the noise of the table breaking. And then they're like, and the guy was sent to the hospital after this. And you're like, wait. And then upon watching it, which for Xavier and I is probably like the grand total of like the 9th time, we're like, wait, like his head hit the monitor and like it didn't look good. Like it actually did look, well, not that it looked great before. Like it looked great in the fact that
but it happened so fast that like you couldn't even like pay attention to anything. But there is something about seeing something in slow motion 9 times that like you're like, oh, maybe I picked up on something I didn't see before. And
that's the one.
and it was
That's
his
the one
head
right there,
smacking the TV monitor. So Rip to that guy.
Talk about defending you till their last breath, Farouk. Okay,
Right,
what about that
100%.
guy?
And
That
he
guy
was.
did his job. He
Meanwhile, Farouk was already long gone by that point.
was already in the locker room changing. Like,
Yeah,
it wasn't
he was
even.
getting he was out doing his stretches for the Royal Rumble. Like he was not
Oh my god.
like he's not
Oh my
sticking
god.
around to see the conclusion. Or
Wait, that's
just
really. Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. You're good.
Uh,
There was nothing of importance coming up next. So
it's always important. No, it's just like now that you say that, that really is a good point. Like, not even like a whisper of Ahmed Johnson or a little like where he comes in and just like flattens everybody. But I guess they were like, we don't really
or
need to have him stand up
you
for.
know, like do his normal thing where he kicks somebody out of their seat and like just takes their seat.
Takes a
You know,
That's
nothing.
true too.
You know what I mean?
There were choices, Ahmed Johnson. Like you had choices.
I think he should.
Trust
I thought he was gonna come out. Like I was fully expecting it, but I guess we're gonna just kind of see how that goes. Maybe it's gonna be a little more tit for tat than I originally thought, because I thought it was just gonna be like two dogs just like attacking each other. Like
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be Tights in a 2x4, the sequel, Return of the
right.
Tights.
Oh my Return of the Tights. Oh, amazing. Those sites were something.
Mhm.
So next we get the much alluded to announcement from Gorilla Monsoon. He comes down to the ring. He basically gives us a little like recap of what
Yeah,
happened.
he brings Vince too.
Oh yeah,
Vince makes a grand reappearance.
Yeah. Oh, they came out like really
Hand in
looking
hand.
like I know they might as well have been like holding hands and skipping. But they just get it's just very like we are the authority. You know, like that's how it like felt. You're just like, oh God, like something big is happening because the two of them like don't hang out as far as like television goes.
It gave
So,
mandatory meeting.
yes. CC all. Like so Gorilla Monsoon essentially goes, you know, in the WWF, like the referee's decisions are final. I cannot change that. In the history books, it will say that Stone Cold Steve Austin won the 1997 like Royal Rumble. He's like, that's where we're at with that. He's like, however, if Stone Cold Steve Austin thinks that tainted victory is going to lead immediately to a World Wrestling Federation Championship match, he's got another thing coming.
Ooh.
And the crowd starts losing it. And so basically he announced, he's like, there will be a fatal 4-way, like no disqualifications, like free for all match between the final 4 of the Royal Rumble, which is The Undertaker, Vader, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and should Bret Hart accept, Bret Hart. So
That's how I want to die. Fatal 4-way.
oh, amazing.
No disqualifications.
No holds barred.
I'm dead.
So which is a just blockbuster of a match. Like just
exciting.
The parties involved, the nature of the match. That match is crazy.
What's at stake?
Crazy.
Because it just is so crazy. Because like, what if the Undertaker just takes it? What if like so much could no disqualifications with those 4 people is
crazy.
So crazy. I can't wait. Like I literally was like, wow, the Royal Rumble's over. Like, what shall we do? Like
what shall we do?
Girl.
Gorilla Monsoon's gonna tell you what we're doing. So the winner of that match will get the title shot against whoever is the champion at WrestleMania.
Which that verbiage freaked me out. Like, what do you mean? Like, I know Sean could lose the title, but like, why'd you say it like that? Why would you say it like that?
He just got
here.
Why
would you say that? I'm telling you, trust issues. I'm never gonna be the same.
Speaking of, Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out and he's got just so much to say about what has just transpired. He basically goes, he grabs the mic. Gorilla Monsoon and Vince McMahon are like now at like ringside like area. And Stone Cold is basically just talking directly at Gorilla Monsoon. And he goes, you can't have a 4-way match. Bret Hart just quit. So tell me how the math is mathing on that one, essentially. And then he goes, for someone who calls himself a gorilla, you sure are, what did he say? Like yeehawing
He
out
said you
here?
like hee hawed out here like the jackass you are, or something like
Yeah,
that.
and
And I was like,
it was just like, oh, because at this point,
hee-haw.
nobody talks to the president like that. It just hasn't, like, as far as like wrestling goes, nobody's been talking to authority like this at all. Like, it's
Mm-mm.
always just been like, these are the people that make the decisions, and then like we all just accept it as fact in the wrestling world.
Yes.
This is like the first time we're getting, like, between Stone Cold and Bret Hart, we're getting, like, as we alluded to at the beginning of the episode, just like pushback at like upper management. um
Yeah.
so Stone Cold then like gets down and starts getting in like Vince's face, and just starts like hooting and hollering, and essentially he's basically just like, he threatens to kick Gorilla Monsoon's ass like here and now. So he gets
Yeah.
outside, starts yelling in both of their faces, and then all of a sudden Bret Hart comes back through the crowd,
Through the crowd.
man of
Man
the
of the
people.
people.
um, so he gets in the ring, he grabs the mic, and she's like, I accept. And basically he goes like, but we don't have to wait. And he was like, we can get it on right now. So he then starts attacking Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they're fighting each other up the aisle, and like fighting each other to the point where it's like every ref on staff, every backstage person, like a bunch of like everyone
Is
comes out to
fighting.
try and separate the two of them.
It was
And mind
violent.
you, Stone Cold is supposed to have a match now, like
Which
next,
I forgot. Totally
because
forgot.
the tea is just better than the matches this time. It's just facts.
Period.
So they're fighting in the aisleway, and then all of a sudden you just hear the Undertaker's gong, and you're like, oh shoot, like he has a match
The way I
now.
screamed. Well, I didn't even think it was the match, because I was like, well, I thought it was gonna be like, well, they're all four gonna come out, because it's like, okay, first Stone Cold for the Fatal 4-Way, first
Mhm.
Stone Cold, then Brett's coming out, and then the Undertaker was like, well, don't forget me. Like,
Yeah.
and I thought he was just coming out to like be out there,
Mhm.
and like he starts fighting with everybody, like he's
Oh yeah,
punching
Undertaker
people left
attacks
and right.
Bret, like, and then goes after Steve, and then the three of them are like fighting. It's a mess.
Yeah, and then like Stone Cold and the Undertaker end up in the ring, and I hear the bell go off, and I was like,
Mhm.
why did they turn the bell off? Like what? And I was like, oh my god, like they're
The
having
match
a
hadn't
match.
started
It's
yet,
like
and
I forgot that they're fighting. Like I forgot
yes,
that they have like a scheduled match
out.
taking
Yeah,
place.
like,
Because I was like, put the bell away, like what? And then I was like, oh,
oh, right.
there,
So,
that's okay.
and thus that starts our main event, which is Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Undertaker, which
Amazing.
we've had before. It was the main event of our first ever episode, and it was a main event of one somewhere along the way. So this is
Wow.
not the first meeting we're seeing between the two, and you can kind of tell, like, the first one, The Undertaker was very much in charge. Like, The
Mhm.
Undertaker was like owning that match. In the second match, you kind of see this is where Stone Cold's like coming into his own. He's like breaking the rules a little bit, getting a couple counters in on The Undertaker. But at the end of the day, Undertaker still comes out on top. This one is very much, they're on the same level, or they're being presented as on the same level.
Yeah.
Because there are times when JR is essentially talking about like how tough the Undertaker is, but in the same breath always mentions how tough Stone Cold is. And like,
Mhm.
so it's this like kind of comparison now that like Stone Cold has made it as far as like being a main eventer. Um
Mhm.
so
Which is fair.
well, yeah. But
Like
and I
without
just
a
like,
doubt.
because and I like that it like the build up like to it.
Yeah.
Because it's believable now. Like, people root for him because of how long it's taken, essentially.
Yeah, for sure.
So we learned that The Undertaker was fined his entire Royal Rumble purse for chokeslamming the referee the night prior.
Worth
So
it.
essentially, The Undertaker worked for free the night prior. He don't care. He don't
Love
care.
that. Love that about him.
He said, I didn't even win the match. Doesn't even matter. Who cares?
He's like, girl, he goes, ain't no money in the grave. Bye. Like,
He's like, okay. I was like, this crypt dry.
Love
Like,
If y'all wanted a life insurance policy, bummer.
think again. So it is also alluded to that the Undertaker has cracked ribs.
Yeah, they said 3 cracked ribs.
Yeah, apparently, which as a result of probably the 2 400+ pound Vader bombs that got dropped on him the night prior. But for some reason, Jerry the King Lawler has taken it upon himself to inform Stone Cold Steve Austin about the Undertaker's cracked ribs. And not only is he decided to do this, he's decided to do it in the most irritating and grating and annoying way that I have ever heard. This man just starts yelling, like, as if, like, he isn't wearing a microphone to his face, yelling to Stone Cold Steve Austin in the ring over and over and over again to attack the Undertaker's ribs. Like, it is ribs. Like,
Ribs.
literally nobody can say anything like nobody can get in a word in edgewise because he just keeps yelling. He's like trying to get Stone Cold's attention and like just keeps yelling like ribs. And you're just like, first of all, you're on the commentary table. You have nothing to do with this match.
Like, shut up.
You run commentary on the match. Shut up. You're not his manager. You're not in cahoots with him in any way, because I guarantee that Stone Cold Steve Austin would take 2 looks at you and give you a verbal undressing before kicking your ass. Like, there's
Yep.
no way that he wants anything to do with you.
You're not
First
special.
of all, it's just like, it was so annoying. It was because nobody else could say anything about the match going on because he just kept yelling about the Undertaker's ribs. And then he gets up off of commentary and goes to ringside as if he's Stone Cold's manager and starts like pounding on the mat. And he's like, Stone Cold, his ribs. And you're just like, okay,
Girl.
shut up.
So annoying. Even Vince was like, okay, can you stop like yelling about his ribs?
Yeah, no,
Like,
literally, he's
stop.
like, he gets Jerry to like sit back down, and he basically was like, well, if Stone Cold didn't know about his ribs like before, he certainly does now, thanks to Jerry the King Lawler. And like, it was definitely like a call out from your boss, basically being like, sit down, like, you're done. Because as like, and you could tell because Jerry just goes like, what, like, and I was like, yeah, like you just
were
got
just
told by
red.
your boss to stop doing whatever you're doing because it's highly distracting and completely unnecessary and not helpful to the
embarrassing.
story.
Like, you should be embarrassed.
Like, it was
This
just
is
weird.
embarrassing.
It was just weird. I don't know why I'm getting so heated about it, but I just
No,
found
we
it
were so mad. I wrote,
it's so
if Jerry
annoying.
says ribs one more time, I will tweak.
Right.
Because do you guys remember if you were a child of the 90s when Chili's would not stop promoting their baby back ribs? Like, it was relentless, like baby back. Like, I felt like Jerry the King worked for Chili's and could not express enough how badly he wanted us all to try their ribs. Ribs.
No, you are not wrong. That
I
is
was like,
spot on.
I'm gonna lose my mind. Or he was like a vendor at a festival who's like, ribs, we got ribs here.
Right.
We got ribs.
And
Hot
like,
ribs.
clearly doesn't understand that like it's a monsoon outside and everyone's like ducking past him, like avoiding eye contact.
And it's
like,
a festival for like vegetarians.
like, cannot deal.
Wrong
Like,
place. Wrong time.
I don't know. I was just like so annoyed because it was so grating. Because
the
it's just
joke
like,
was ruined too. Like, it was funny if like, Stone Cold, go for the ribs. Like, oh, Jerry, you silly goose.
Yeah, you silly
And then
goose.
it was relentless.
Like, you took it like way, like, I was like, this isn't like like, what is this? Like, we're
Way
all
too
just
far.
like off put now. Like, nobody wants this. Like,
yeah,
I hated that.
hated it.
So the match is progressing. They're going back and forth. At one point, the Undertaker low blows Steve Austin in the corner, which is just hilarious. And Stone Cold retaliates with a stunner of his own, and then they both end up kind of just like taking a sec, and then the camera cuts to backstage, and Bret Hart is fighting Vader, just like with once again the entire entourage of like WWF employees and backstage personnel just trying to separate the two, and they're like going at it, and you're
Yeah.
just like, okay, like Vader must have been like on his way before the match started and like caught Bret and was like, on Donkey Kong, let's go. And like just started fighting back there. I don't know,
Amazing.
but it
Love
was
to see it.
spectacular.
I love to see them brawl.
So the match is progressing. Like it seems like the Undertaker's about to get like the upper hand. He's got Stone Cold like in the choke slam like position when Vader makes his way out into the ring, and quickly followed by Bret the Hitman Hart, and then all four men are just brawling in the ring. Just
Beefing.
absolutely beefing. Just I love it.
All out fighting. It was so, because at one point, like, Bret Hart and Stone Cold are like in the aisle fighting, and Vader and Undertaker are in the ring. And I was like, I don't even know where to look. Like, there's so much happening. Like, at one point, like, Undertaker like choke slams Vader, which is crazy in and of itself. And like, I'm like, okay, I'm looking there. And then like something crazy is happening with Stone Cold. And so I was like, okay, I'm looking over here.
Oh yeah, Bret Hart's like throwing him into the steel grate.
Throwing him into the steel. Yeah. And I was like, oh my, I don't, and but then you hear a like a gigantic thunk from the ring. So you're like, all right, well, who fell? Like or like who got slammed? It was like crazy. It
Absolute
was
insanity.
I cannot wait to see this fight.
So this match, this episode was fantastic. There was so much going on, and we still have it like there's still so much we need to be updated on. We need to know where Ahmed is.
Yep.
Psycho Sid's going to come back from the concussion, and having just lost the world title, he's not going to be too happy.
Yeah. Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels. We're going to have to hear from exactly. Goldust after that whole situation with Hunter.
Oh my god.
There's so much we still need to be caught up on.
There's so much I still don't understand and know.
And now we have this like absolute chaos fest that is this like fatal four-way, and I'm ready to watch them rip each other apart.
No disqualifications.
It's gonna be wild.
So everyone just fights to the death. Like, that's crazy.
I love it.
It's just
I love it so much.
Ridiculous. WrestleMania? They're gonna fight the champ at WrestleMania?
Yes, girl.
It's so exciting.
I know.
I really I expected to come off of the Royal Rumble and be like, okay, like we start again. Like now we work our way to the next paper. Nope. They kept the foot on the gas. They cut the brake line and threw a cinder block on the gas pedal of a semi.
Yeah.
And jumped out and crashed it through my life. So
yeah, it's amazing.
Yep, they're just dragging me for the last 18 blocks. So
so guys, let's make it worth it. Whatchamacallit? I don't know where I was going with that. I did not have
I was like,
I did not have
worth it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Wait, who's because is it L'Oreal because you're worth it? Okay. Because it's we're like our first sponsorship is
right. Oh my god, we'll never get it through it. Whatchamacallit? Let me do a little tidbit on the thing, voting. And then I'll wrap it up. Okay. All right, guys. So that was this week's episode of the New to Wrestling podcast. Thank you as always for watching. And once again, we want to just make mention that we have been shortlisted for the best wrestling podcast via the Sports Podcast Awards.
Woo-hoo.
So, voting will go on until January 28th, 2024, and we will leave the links all over our socials as well as in the description of this video, either on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And we appreciate it. I don't want to get too far into it. Just thank you for watching. We've been seeing a little bit of an uptick as far as just people interacting with us, watching what we're doing, listening to what we're doing. And we love it.
We
We
do,
are
obviously.
Yeah, we're gonna spend a little bit of time just kind of planning how we want this next year to go and what things we'd like to accomplish. Because this is just the beginning for the two of us. We are about 37 weeks in, which is
Wow.
crazy. Right?
For two flakes,
Consistency.
this is great.
No, fully for the two flakiest people I know. Pretty
Love it.
consistent, I
I'm
must
so
say.
proud.
But all right, guys, thank you so much, and we will catch you next week.
We'll see you there.
Bye.
Bye.